हेलो गाइस,
हेलो
वेलकम बैक
गाइस।
टू आवर चैनल। तो कैसे हैं आप लोग? उम्मीद करते हैं आप सब बढ़िया होंगे, हम भी एकदम
बढ़िया।
तो आज हम जिस वीडियो के ऊपर रिएक्शन देने वाले हैं बहुत ही धांसू वीडियो होने वाला है। मतलब जो मीडिया छुपाने की कोशिश करता है और हर वक्त पाकिस्तान के बारे में कुछ ना कुछ गलत ही दिखाता है मीडिया। और ये एक पॉजिटिव साइड दिखाएगा पाकिस्तान की इस वीडियो में। ये ब्लॉगर हैं, वर्ल्ड टूर घूमते रहते हैं हर कंट्री में। और टाइटल है द साइड ऑफ पाकिस्तान दैट मीडिया ट्राइज टू हाइड। सो देखते हैं वीडियो, चलिए ज़्यादा देर ना करते हुए शुरू करते हैं।
Hello friends and welcome to Pakistan. Whoop.
This is how you probably imagine the country. There's a lot happening, there's a lot of people, there's markets, there's a lot of things.
I don't think it's a tourist attraction. But there's another side to this country that nobody shows you. And today in this video, we are gonna do it in Islamabad. We're gonna show you the Pakistan that never makes it to the news.
We're gonna start our video today in an area called the Blue Zone.
Blue Zone is literally the center of Islamabad. And you know what? As soon as you walk around in here, you realize that Pakistan isn't as different as the media shows. There's no busyness, no markets. It looks exactly like London or Paris or New York. As we walked through this new and organized part of Pakistan's capital, we were surprised. Why was it that in our mind we had a picture of this country as poor and chaotic? Yes, there was more street food stands and beggars than we were used to. But the overall feeling was much different from what we had seen on the news. But why? Had Pakistan really changed so much in recent times? Or maybe we had just been fooled by the media. With our heads filled with unanswered questions, we continued our journey through Islamabad. Our next destination is a must-see in this city, and for this reason it also seemed to be a big favorite for school trips. But before we could make it there, we got another surprise, and this one was traffic. Before entering this country, I was a bit stressed over it, since traffic in Pakistan is left-handed. Is Pakistan left-side traffic? And well, our van isn't. I thought that it would be crazy and problematic, but in this city, there was no problem at all. The roads were good and wide, and it felt totally safe. Okay, I have to stop myself here for a moment. Yes, the road culture here in Islamabad is pretty amazing. But now that we've spent almost a month in Pakistan, we've realized that it's not the same in rest of the country. And most of the time if we drive in big cities, then afterwards I do have to change my underwear. But now back to Islamabad. Once we arrived at our next stop, we started seeing school kids all around us. As I said, it's a popular place for school trips. But we also started to realize a big difference of visiting Pakistan as a tourist. A small little thing that for many locals, we were much more interesting than the site itself. I guess if your dream is to one day become famous, you should visit Pakistan first to actually know how being a celebrity feels like. After tens, if not hundreds of pictures, we finally had the chance to see Pakistani monument itself. It's a beautiful structure symbolizing unity and pride of what it means to be Pakistani. And due to its amazing location, it also offers incredible views on the city itself. After being charmed by this location, and truthfully, a little bit tired of all the selfies, we left in a hurry and made our way to another so-called must-see place at the other end of the city. The kilometers-long drive took us barely 10 minutes, and in this short while, we still couldn't understand why were our expectations of this city so different from the reality. Just see for yourself, this is what I thought only a few days ago. we will continue our journey from Pakistan, from one of the craziest cities in the world, Islamabad. Our next stop was an interesting mix of religion and history of this land. Faisal Mosque is the most famous mosque of Islamabad and maybe even the whole country. And it looks nothing like we have seen before. It's designed to look like a Bedouin tent. Bedouins, in fact, are nomadic people that live and used to occupy those lands over a millennia. The complex itself looked beautiful, and like many holy places, it had very peaceful atmosphere. Although the mosque itself was closed between prayers, we still found a person who would let us have a quick look inside. I'm sure it was the softest carpet I have ever stepped on. And well, you just got to love Pakistani hospitality. We felt special to have seen the mosque when it was totally empty. And if anyone is wondering, then yes, the selfies didn't end here either.
Give me one photo, please.
And what makes it funny for me is that they don't even ask our names. They just take pictures with us, total strangers. And it really did not seem to matter that I totally scared their kids. It's okay, you want daddy back, Yes. When it was time to leave the mosque, we had grown impatient. As travelers, part of us is always looking for the extreme, searches for the exotic, and grieves for adrenaline. And so, instead of the known parts of Islamabad, we headed to the outskirts of the city. We wanted to see how the truly local places here look like. And so, we made our way to a 100% local market. What we had seen on the market was finally at least a little bit similar to what we had seen on the news. Hundreds of stalls filled with seemingly useless second-hand goods, noise, beggars, constant yelling. But what wasn't there was the mountains of trash and stories of horrible smell that we had heard. The whole market actually smelled good, like fruits and veggies. And surprisingly, so far on our adventure, this was the place where the least people wanted to make pictures with us. So in some weird way, we felt the most peaceful here. But since peace was not what we came here for, I just wanted to create some havoc. First opportunity for mischief presented itself when a young guy offered to carry anything we had in his wheelbarrow. I took it way too literally. Well, and he didn't seem to be as amused as I was of my job. But that still wasn't enough. Once we saw locals manhandling some chickens, and I knew I just had to get my hands on those chicks as well. I don't think it's a tourist attraction. I think it was the first time in my life when I actually held a chicken in my hands. And trust me when I say it, cats and dogs are much better pets. After this, our thirst for chaos was momentarily gone.
It was funny, it was very funny.
But little did we know that the next place was actually the first that brought fear and horror to the eyes of the visitors. From what we had read online, Taman-e-Koh was supposed to be a beautiful green space on a mountain that offered spectacular views to the city. But what we instantly found out was that there was a lot more to see here. This place was home to hundreds of monkeys, and those little guys could only be described as true troublemakers. Yes, they were times smaller than the humans, but they also knew that we were cowards, and so they rule this area. Believe it or not, that monkey did not buy that himself. Time after time, they stole snacks from passing people, and their appetite seemed to be endless. She opened the bag of chips, and now they're in the bush eating over there. Chips in glazed bags, cotton candy, and even Lisu's ice cream seemed to be appealing to them. But no, Lisu was 2 steps ahead of them. How could a monkey outsmart a brilliant woman like her? This monkey is going for Lisu's ice cream. And so just before the monkey could strike, she downed the remaining ice cream in just one bite.
मैं फटाफट खा ली।
Brain freeze? Was it worth it? Who am I to say? But I could swear I saw a smile on the monkey's face. The views from up here were quite nice, but the thing that really struck us was how green the city looked. The whole place was full of trees, parks, and green spaces. It really made the air clean and created a cozy atmosphere. And of course, once again, there was tons of people who wanted selfies with us. But I guess this is what happens if not a lot of tourists make it here. We are still quite unusual for the locals, and although sometimes a little bit annoying, who are we to say no to them? As the last thing, we wandered once again to the center of Islamabad and slowly started to realize why our previous idea of Pakistan was so distorted and wrong, and why we hadn't seen this side of the country on news. It was exactly like life in any other part of the world. Shopping malls, modern lifestyle, cafes. But think of it. Would you open a news article with a headline, "Pakistan is a very modern country now. Tourists now safe in Pakistan." They lack the intrigue, and that is why media mostly shows the negative side. And we even thought that maybe they are not to blame, because in the end, they have to make us click. And I really couldn't remember the last time when I clicked on an article that's headline was a little bit, boring. And with this idea on our head, we had made it to the last stop, a small cozy cafe, once again in the blue
कहते
zone.
ना कि ये पाकिस्तान एंटर करने से पहले ये सोच रहे थे कि हाँ भाई हम सेफ नहीं होंगे वहाँ पे, मतलब वहाँ पे एटमॉस्फेयर कैसा होगा, वहाँ गंदगी होगी या कुछ भी. बट जैसे इन्होंने पाकिस्तान विज़िट किया, घूमना शुरू करा, और इनको पाकिस्तान की एक नई साइड दिखाई दी जो कि मीडिया में नहीं दिखाई जाती है ना, एक पॉजिटिव साइड की वहाँ के लोग भी मॉडर्न हैं और वहाँ पे भी खाने पीने रहने घूमने के लिए बहुत सी अच्छी जगह है ना. बस वो ये है कि मीडिया टीआरपी पाने के लिए या फिर एक कंट्री दूसरी कंट्री की इंसल्ट करने के लिए मीडिया वाले लोग उसकी नेगेटिव साइड ही दिखाते हैं. अब पॉजिटिव नेगेटिव तो हर जगह पे होता ही है. इंडिया में बहुत सी चीज़ें अच्छी भी हैं, बहुत सी चीज़ें बुरी भी हैं.
अगर आप बुरी चीज़ें दिखाते रहोगे तो अच्छी चीज़ें लोगों को पता ही नहीं चलेंगी.
वैसे ही पाकिस्तान में बहुत सी चीज़ें अच्छी हैं जो छुपाई जाती हैं, दिखाई नहीं जाती. तो इन्होंने क्या बोला कि अभी कि हाँ पाकिस्तान में टूरिस्ट सेफ हैं, है ना,
वहाँ के लोग अच्छे हैं,
वहाँ का एटमॉस्फेयर हॉस्पिटैलिटी दिखाई इन्होंने. ऐसे ही हर कंट्री में यार, अगर आप यूएस से भी चले जाओ तो ऐसा नहीं है कि वहाँ पे बैगर नहीं दिखेंगे. वहाँ पे बैगर होते हैं, सड़कों पे
सब जगह होते हैं.
वहाँ पे भी कुछ एरिया ऐसे होते हैं जहाँ गंदगी होती है, स्लम है ना, झुग्गियाँ झोपड़ियाँ बनी होती हैं. सो ये हर कंट्री में होता है.
बाकी वो मॉल्स कितना प्यारा मॉल था.
तो फैसल मॉस्क्यू इस्लामाबाद की पहचान है ना, पाकिस्तान मॉन्यूमेंट वो भी कितना अच्छा है. अभी तो इन्होंने वीडियो में मेरे ख्याल से इनकी और भी वीडियोस होंगी, अगर आप चाहें तो मैं बताना, हम उस पर भी रिएक्शन देंगे. उसमें हमें भी कुछ देखने को
नेक्स्ट
मिलेगा.
वीडियो आई थिंक वो कह रहे थे हम नेचर पे बनाएंगे, पाकिस्तान का नेचर कैसा है, वहाँ की वो वादियाँ वगैरह वो चीज़ें.
हाँ, तो आप कमेंट करके बताइएगा नेक्स्ट वीडियो आप देखना चाहते हैं इनकी कि नहीं, तो उसके अकॉर्डिंग ही हम वीडियो बनाएंगे. तो अगर आपको वीडियो अच्छा लगा फटाफट से कर दीजिए वीडियो को लाइक और चैनल हमारा सब्सक्राइब कर लीजिएगा. तो फिर मिलेंगे नई वीडियो में. टेक केयर, बाय बाय.